Welcome to a brand new episode of Movie Reviews and Munchies, where I review my favorite movies and snack on vegan snacks on this channel. This week I'm super excited. I'm going to be looking at an X-Files episode, and I've got a really cool snack that I'm gonna whip up in the kitchen in a sec. It's a cream cheese bagel with vegan bacon and tomatoes on it to die for. Can't wait to have that. Hope you guys have been doing good. I have been busy creating more new videos and content. Oh, and by the way, if you're new here, my name is Karen. I'm from Ocean Chicks Films, and we talk about movies. We do vegan recipes up in my kitchen, and also talk about the documentaries that I'm working on. So if you're into all of that, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on bell notifications so that you get notified when I upload all my latest videos. We upload 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or we try to. Sometimes I get a little bit off track, but I'm working on it to get a week ahead so that I can have continuous uploads for you guys to watch. Okay, let's talk about the X-Files. Now, I'm sure you guys know what that TV show is all about. It's kind of an older one, but I'll do a brief rundown of it for you in case there's anybody out there that doesn't know what it is. And then I'm going to talk about a specific episode called Detour, and it was one of the Monsters of the Week episodes. So what they would usually do is they had the main series. It ran for like 9 or 10 years, and they brought it back again for a short 11th season just a couple years ago. And anyways, it had a main plot line, but then they would do these special freestanding episodes called Monsters of the Week, and this was one of them. And basically the episode ran that you could watch that episode without knowing anything about the X-Files. It kind of had a conclusion at the end of the hour-long episode. So I'm going to talk about that one because I think that would be fun. The reason I'm doing this is because last week we talked about Bigfoot and that internet documentary that I was telling you about, which was really cool. And it got me thinking about this specific episode of X-Files that I thought would be fun because it kind of has a similar vibe to it. Not exactly the same, but kind of similar. And, you know, growing up as a kid, when I was like a teenager, my dad and I were so into X-Files, we would wait for it every Sunday night and be like, oh, it's on, yell from each other's rooms that we were watching it, and then we talk about it after, and those are great memories. I really love that show. And I think because of that show, you know, I have the poster, and I feel like that's kind of where my interest in, you know, the supernatural, ghosts, Bigfoot, Area 51, UFOs, all that kind of stuff came from. I spent a lot of my childhood kind of watching movies and reading books and being interested in that kind of thing. The X-Files was a science fiction drama TV series that ran between 1993 and 2002, created by Chris Carter and starring David Duchovny, Gillian Anderson, Robert Patrick, Annabeth Gish, and Mitch Pileggi. The series revolved around 2 characters, FBI agents Fox Mulder, played by David Duchovny, and Dana Scully, played by Gillian Anderson, whose job is to investigate unsolved cases involving paranormal phenomena. Mulder believes in the existence of aliens and the paranormal, while Scully is a medical doctor and skeptic. She is assigned to analyze Mulder's findings. They become pawns in a larger conflict and trust each other and only a select few. They uncover a government agenda to cover up the existence of extraterrestrials. Let's head over to my kitchen, and then I will show you how to make this amazing bagel recipe. isn't this the most amazing sandwich you've ever seen? And it's all vegan too. But ooh, look at that. And vegan Canadian bacon and tomato and an everything bagel. All right, let's taste test the coffee. Made with oat milk and a little bit of cane sugar. Mmm, yum. Let's try this crazy sandwich. I don't even know how to pick it up. Need 2 hands for this. Let's put that down. Don't want to make a mess. Look at that. Yum. Take a big bite. Mmm, so delicious. Look at that. Mmm, yum. Messy too. Mmm. I don't understand how people think they can't go vegan, because I think they're absolutely wrong. Mmm, so good. I hope that you'll try this recipe. All right, let's get back to our television show review. In this episode, Mulder and Scully are on their way to an FBI convention in Florida, and they're driving in the car with this other couple. And of course, Mulder does not want to go to this convention whatsoever, so he's thrilled when they come up against this roadblock where the townspeople are investigating disappearance of some people in the area. So he jumps at the chance to stay, tells Scully that he's not going to the conference and that he's going to stay and help them with the investigation. So the episode is about these 3 people go missing in the woods, and they figure out that there are these mysterious humanoid creatures that have sort of look like a tree bark kind of skin with these red eyes. So the episode begins with these 2 men in the forest, and they are surveying to do construction there, and they mysteriously disappear. Then the next thing that happens is a dad named Michael and his son go out, and the dad's teaching him how to hunt. And they notice the surveying equipment but no people, and they're thinking something weird's going on, and the dad kind of gets the sense that something's watching them. So he tells the son to take the dog and run back to home with mom and just stay there and don't come back. And then eventually time passes, and the mom gets the cops involved because they haven't heard from him in a long time, so he's gone missing. So Scully and Mulder are working with this officer Michelle to figure out what's going on. And then it cuts back to the mom and the son in their house at night, and one of the creatures has gotten into their house, and they start to panic. And then Mulder ends up having a feeling that something's going on. He shows up at her door and, saves them and scares off the creature. So the next morning, Mulder and Scully go into the woods again with the police officer and the crew, and they begin trying to search for anything that they can find to find these people. And of course, the police officer ends up going missing. They're all supposed to stay together, but they kind of don't. And so does this other guy. And so Mulder and Scully are kind of lost in the woods because they can't figure their way around. So they kind of hang out there, and then there's a famous little jingle that she sings to get her through the night, and that's it's kind of funny. I love that about this show. There's lots of humor injected in it. And then in the morning they start looking around again, and what happens is Scully ends up falling into this big hole that turns out to be a cave where these creatures are actually storing all the people that they've kidnapped. And so she doesn't have her gun, and Mulder ends up jumping into the hole after her, and she uses his gun, and then she shoots the creature, and then they're able to see that it's this humanoid-looking creature with the scaly kind of tree bark kind of skin with the red eyes. In part of the show, Mulder refers to this creature as maybe something like a Mothman. And he also talks about the fact that he thinks maybe it could be an evolved version of when the Spanish first came there 450 years ago looking for the Fountain of Youth. And the guy he's talking to thinks that's ridiculous. That's one cool thing that Mulder does. He does these analysis of things in kind of a weird alternative version of what the events are rather than the really practical side of it, which is what Scully's kind of more about. I love looking at things that way, so I think that's what makes this show so fun for me. And then obviously the creatures were attacking everybody because of the proposed building site. They're trying to build on their home, their land. So they're stuck in the cave, and then at this point they eventually the search crew comes through and they find them and they rescue them, and they're sort of looking over them, making sure they're okay. And Mulder realizes, where's Scully? And someone says, oh, she went back to the hotel to get your stuff. So he got a bad feeling and he decided he would drive there really quickly and go see, you know, what if she was okay. And she was gathering up all their stuff and was like, what? And he whisked her out of there really quickly. And as the door shuts to the hotel room, the camera pans down to under the bed and you see two red eyes. Really cool. I love that. I love that show. These were refreshing episodes because the main storyline was so intricate and changing all the time. And way back when this show was on, we didn't have Netflix and that kind of thing. So you had to wait every week, every Sunday night, you know, 9 o'clock, to be able to watch the new episode to see what was going on. And all week you could think about it and kind of make up your interpretation of it and what you think was going on. And then there'd be twists and stuff the next week, and it would confuse you and you'd be kind of at a loss again. And that's what the fun was. Not like nowadays where we have Netflix and you can binge watch an entire season or the whole entire show in one night. So it was really fun back then, really fun to watch that way, and I think they put a lot into every single episode because of that. But it was refreshing every couple of weeks to have these monster episodes that were just a complete episode all in one that you could watch from beginning to end, and then that was the end of it. It had the characters in them like Mulder and Scully, but they you know, they were completely separate from the main plot, the main storyline. So it's a really cool show. I hope that you'll check it out if you haven't seen it before. And if you have seen it, comment below and let me know what you thought of it and what you think of X-Files. I absolutely adore X-Files. So I'm going to give this episode 5 shark bites because I really liked it and I hope you'll watch it. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention. So this story completely, and I think it was inspired somewhat by another TV show that I really loved that I watched when I was really little with my dad, called Kolchak's Night Stalker. Wow, that was a really great show too. Kind of a theme going through it, but then each episode was an individual episode with these monsters that Kolchak would have to investigate, and he'd end up, it would seem like it was a normal everyday event, and he would end up finding out that it was something bizarre like UFOs or vampires or something like that, and he would solve the case, but then no one would believe what actually happened. Those were so good too. I had a weird childhood, didn't I? I watched a lot of scary stuff, and I was scared at the time, but I think because of that, I'm obsessed with those kinds of things nowadays. Like I said, Bigfoot, Area 51 UFOs, ghosts, the paranormal, all of that, super, super interesting. So I'd like to talk a lot more about that on Mondays on our movie reviews. Actually, I think it's quite fun. And we can talk about documentaries on Fridays. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope that you liked this and that you'll try that bagel recipe too, because wow, that's so delicious, especially with the iced coffee. Perfect. So I will see you again on Wednesday. I have another fantastic recipe. Tested it out on the family. Everybody gave it a thumbs up. It's delicious. That's going to be this Wednesday. Thanks again for stopping by. I love you guys. We'll see you again Wednesday. Bye.